So you're here to build and play the all-new physical queen Mifu. She's the dream character for any physical team players as an all-new crush applier. And today, we'll be breaking her down in my complete Mifu guide. We'll be covering her best combos, teams, builds, everything in between, and you have to use the timestamps for your convenience. With all that said, let's get into it. To start with a summary, Mifu is the upper replacement for the classical administrator that we're used to using in a physical team. She shares the same role of dealing crush damage, except Mifu does it way more constantly. Not only that, Mifu is able to inflict physical susceptibility on her combo skill, one stack of vulnerability on her ultimate, and she's also able to obtain a shield that provides increased resistance to interruption, making her a pretty all-rounded character for the physical team, which allows her to fully take the spot of N-mid. This makes her best team joint with what N-mid's good in. Teams like a pure physical nuke team or even a mixed Rossi teams are two of the best Mifu setups there is. That would be the TLDR. Let's jump into the nitty-gritty of her kit now. First off, her basics are 4 sequence of slashes and kicks, which is fairly speedy for a great sword holder. Obviously, since it's a great sword, it also inflicts higher stagger on the final strike. Her battle skill is her bread and butter. The first time you use it, it'll cost 100 SP and returns 50 SP for you. And by using it, you'll perform Mifu's move 1. This move 1 fires a grappling chain that deals just a little bit of damage, which gathers enemies to her front or launches herself to an enemy if that enemy is unmovable. For a period of time after casting this move 1, Mifu's battle skill is temporarily replaced with Mifu's move 2 instead. You can tell how long you have left based on the outer glowing circle on your battle skill icon. If you use Mifu's move 2 this time, it will only cost 50 SP. Mifu's move 2 will unleash a flurry of punches that deals physical damage, with the final hit applying the crush effect. This is exactly what you would do at N-mid usually, except with Mifu, if you manage to consume at least 3 vulnerability stacks from one target, the next battle skill will again be temporarily replaced with Mifu's move 3. Now let's just understand what move 3 does. By using move 3, it'll cost you only 50 SP as well, and this move sees Mifu dealing massive crush damage too. Do note that this crush damage is not considered as applying the crush effect, but it is considered crush damage anyway. That also means it's not treated as battle skill damage either. It's simply crush damage that isn't done via applying the crush effect that would usually consume vulnerabilities. This means art's intensity will directly affect a lot of Mifu's damage output from her skills, especially with this move 2 and 3, seeing as how much crush damage that they do. Since move 3 isn't considered as applying the crush effect, that also means you do not need to consume any physical status, you just deal the crush damage, pretty much for free. It's a really good payoff. By using move 2 to consume multiple vulnerabilities right into move 3, it will be as if you just nuke the enemy with crush twice in a row. Not only that, Mifu has her first talent that improves the battle skill too. Mifu's move 3's damage multiplier will be increased by 1.2 times the original if you hit a target with physical susceptibility or if they're staggered. They'll mostly have one of these effects no matter what, especially once you know of her combo skill. Speaking of which, Mifu's combo skill will trigger when an enemy has 3 or more vulnerability stacks. Upon usage, Mifu unleashes an uppercut at the enemy, dealing physical damage and applying a 16-second physical susceptibility debuff on the enemy. She also replaces her next battle skill with her move 2 skill, so you don't have to start from move 1 again. The idea now gets really direct. You want to trigger Mifu's combo with the team, then instantly get access to her own move 2 battle skill, apply the crush by consuming 3 or 4 vulnerabilities, which allows you to chain it right into a move 3, all while only spending 100 SP in total, and you basically get 2 massive crush damage to happen. Oh yeah, by the way, Mifu's second talent here says she gains a shield equaling to 30% of max HP when she uses the combo skill. This shield also provides resistance to interruption, although you can only trigger it once every 60 seconds, and it only lasts for a short 10 seconds. But hey, it's still a great protective function for someone like Mifu that will want to stand on field and be in the enemy's face a lot. Finally, we have her ultimate, which sees Mifu brutally attacking a target, applying the lift effect as well, and dealing physical damage. After that, Mifu's battle skill is replaced with her move 2 again. This ultimate has a respectable 700% multiplier at max level, but she obviously still mainly a crush damage dealer, especially with all her battle skills. Now then, with her whole kit understood, it seems obvious that Mifu shares a lot of similar role as N-min in the physical team, mainly getting her team to land physical status and then consuming them via crush for maximum damage output. The fact that Mifu's move 3 can freely inflict crush damage without consuming physical status is definitely pretty strong, and the fact that her ultimate can inflict a physical status is actually helpful too, especially for a pure physical team that needs to also inflict the breach effect. In any case though, let's take a gander now at her best builds. Starting with her weapon, her own signature Adamantine Tassel is definitely the best, providing all the relevant stats and especially the physical damage and art's intensity increase with its effect. Now if you're looking for alternatives though, I actually do very much recommend the standard 6-star Exemplar. It has all the right stats and relevant effects effects that actually suits Mifu very well, and you can expect an exemplar even at R0 to reach near the level of her own signature. It's definitely worth just using this weapon if you have it, especially at high refinement. Another alternative to think of though will be the Battle Pass Phantom Pain, but I would consider that only after exemplar. With that said, let's now take a look at her gear. For the sets, you want the Grizzled Edge armor set, which is a new equipment introduced in the new version. Obviously, all the main and substats are exactly what Mifu needs, including arts intensity and physical damage bonuses. The set effect is perfectly designed for her, providing her with strong physical damage increase and some attack buff. It's recommended though to go with the Swordmancer light armor as one of your offset only for the ult gate efficiency, where you really just lose little to no damage in exchange for better ultimate cycles and rotations. But that's all up to your team and how you play. You can definitely just go for Grizzled Edge armor as well if you're say setting up for an extreme one-shot where every bit of damage matters. Now that your Mifu is built and ready to go, let's take a look at her best allies and team setups now. We'll start with her best allies, which will be a quick and easy one. There are generally two groups of allies that Mifu works well with. The first group is everything physical related, and group 2 would be the Rossi team related allies. The physical allies that work best with Mifu will be characters like Qianyu, Pogranichnik, Lifeng, Amber, and any physical based characters that can consistently inflict vulnerabilities or help Mifu deal more crush damage. It's pretty much just Endmin's best allies as well. You get the drill. Now for the best allies with relation to Rossi, it's actually still just a way of saying Mifu would take the spot of Endmin in a Rossi team. You will want allies like Rossi, Akikuri, maybe even Gilberta and Perlica. These are characters that are already good in a Rossi team right now, and those are characters that can land physical status with arts infliction as well to activate Rossi's kit. Mifu aids Rossi with physical susceptibility. Rossi aids Mifu too with inflicting physical status and increasing physical damage taken for the targets. It's actually a perfect match. There's also a nicher angle of using Mifu in a freeze shatter team that would feature characters like Estella. It is situational but definitely workable. As I said though, Mifu would pretty much just take the spot of Endmin in any squad, and that includes the Estella team too. I think you see the pattern here. Mifu just genuinely can take the role of Endmin in pretty much any team right now that Endmin's in. Moving on though, let's get into the team showcase now. Before we dive in, understand this as well. There are a lot of different ways to play any teams and characters. Tinkering with energy regen or fighting different scenarios would generally require different arrangement of combos, but what I have for you today is just something simple that you can also do within a few minutes of getting used to. Hopefully it'll work as a good reference. Hey, let's just start with the first team combo showcase. We got the best pure physical team in the game right now, which features Mifu, Qianyu, Lifeng, and Pogranichnik. You can swap Lifeng for say Amber or any general sustain if you prefer some more safety, but this currently is the most offensive strong physical team with high skill ceiling as well. Now then, let's get into it. To start, you want to use Lifeng's skill to land his susceptibility, then go right into Progress ult. Make sure Lifeng finishes his skill animation and uses ult too. Then use Chen's combo. Wait for Lifeng's ult to finish its second hit, and now you instantly have 4 vulnerabilities already. Mifu's combo is also now available. This is when you'll finish a final strike with Mifu, activating Lifeng's combo. Now use all combos available and use Progress skill to apply Breach. Mifu lands her susceptibility now. She gains her shield and she replaced her battle skill with her move too. From here, use Progress combo, then Lifeng's skill, then Chen's combo. Now you'll go with Mifu's ultimate, which will already do solid damage, but more importantly, you'll land one more vulnerability, and you'll also replace her next battle skill with move 2 again. Now use Chen's battle skill for the final stack, then use Mifu's battle skill twice. That would be the move 2 and 3 for massive crush damage. You can use Chen's ult as well. That would also be when all relevant debuffs are online. After that, you'll repeat the same idea of gaining physical vulnerabilities via Lifeng and Chen, then use Progress skill for the breach and gain vulnerabilities again, get to 3 and trigger Mifu's combo to chain into her double skill. That would be the general rotation that you could try, and it's definitely not min-max yet. Plus, you don't really have to force yourself to min-max it. Sometimes if you can't manage to land a breach or your breach isn't exactly the 4 stack one, it will still work out. The team still works. You may lose some damage output, but unless you're just really sweaty like that, you don't have to make sure every bit of numbers max and play to perfection. That's just not how these games are designed, in my opinion, to like play, at least for the general public, right? In any case though, this team is pretty strong in a single target scenario, and it's up there as one of the best teams. One thing interesting to think about is how this team actually does solidly anyway against AoE situations too, where you now mainly use Mifu as the enemy gatherer via her battle skill move 1. This is actually a godsend for physical teams that may sometimes miss their physical stacks because a mob moved a bit too far off, right? And that would ruin a lot of the things that you may want to do. Mifu being able to gather enemies is definitely something that you should look out for as one of her top values, really. If you've ever struggled with a pure physical team in the current Umbral Monuments or any Umbral Monument situations with multiple enemies, Mifu's gonna make that a lot easier. And with that, we can now go into the joint best Mifu team, which is the Mifu Rossi setup. The team I'll show you here is again a more generally useful version, and this one's actually my favorite Mifu team for now for how easy it is to use for any occasion. This team features Mifu, Rossi, Perlica, and Gilberta. You can swap out Perlica and Gilberta for the likes of Kuri, Pogranichnik, and of course the future Camille that will undoubtedly be one of the best options here. Now in any case, I'll show you what this team looks like. To start, use Gilberta's skill and get to Mifu's final strike. That'll trigger Perlica's combo, so use that, and that'll trigger Gilberta's combo, so use that too. Because you have an arts and you have a vulnerability, that'll activate Rossi's combo, so go ahead and use that. You'll do it again and time it perfectly. If you've done all of that, that means 3 easy stacks of vulnerability, which will trigger Mifu's combo. Use that combo and use Rossi's battle skill. You now have Mifu's susceptibility, Rossi's claw mark, and the 4th vulnerability. Here, use Mifu's battle skill twice for move 2 and 3. You'll be able to do massive crush damage here. Then use Gilberta's ult. Then Perlica, Rossi, Mifu's ult too. And that will be 1 rotation. Mifu will actually already land 1 stack of vulnerability with her ultimate, and that'll actually set you up for the next phase where you may not have everyone's ult. Continue to get the vulnerability stacks and the arts needed from Gilberta, trigger Mifu's move 2 and 3, and get the same exact rotation out again when your ults are available. The damage from this team is explosive from multiple ends, while Mifu herself won't be doing as much damage as she would in a pure physical team, but her damage combined with Rossi's damage is pretty ridiculous. Add to the point of how you have a lot of ways to adjust, like using Mifu's battle skill 1 to gather AoE mobs if you need to, or Gilberta's skill works too to gather enemies if Mifu's skill 1's not available. The constant lifts from Gilberta can control mobs as well. Like, it's a lot of things that you could deal with this team. While Gilberta doesn't perfectly help Mifu's damage output, her lift from the combo is already pretty helpful anyway, just for that extra stack of vulnerability, and it's just a team that feels very smooth and methodical. It's my personal favorite team so far. Try it out if you'd like. Finally though, a quick look at her potentials. P1 is actually worth snagging with a fairly helpful CD decrease and susceptibility effect and duration increase. Since Mifu's definitely not required to have her signature weapon, her P1 is a decent pickup if you love her, but she definitely doesn't need it to function well already. P3 significantly boosts her survivability with her shield's cooldown reduced by a big 15 seconds. But it's again not required, but then again, that may change with the coming new challenging endgame of contingency contract where survivability may become very important. P5 though increases all multipliers of her battle skill and increasing stagger dealt by 5 on her ultimate. It's definitely helpful, especially with a stagger where you can set up very different one-shots by timing the staggers in one specific boss stages and whatnot. The damage increase though is solid, but I wouldn't say it's worth going all the way to P5 for unless you really love her. And that will be all. Overall, I think Mifu is a great option for players that want the strongest physical team setup, replacing Endmin as the premium option. Players who want to chase the meta numbers and strongest teams will definitely want to look out for Mifu, especially combined with Rossi and the future Camille, since they're likely going to be the definitive strongest team in the version, but we'll have to wait for Camille to be sure. For players that simply never cared for physical teams, including Rossi teams too though, Mifu is honestly not required. Of course, you can always say you have Endmin anyway, like that'll work out, though I will add that depending on how you are as a player, if you're interested in say contingency contract for example, which is the up and coming insanely hard endgame, you might want to look out for Mifu. Who knows if her survivability would be the one thing that carries you there, right? It's not exactly something that say Endmin could give you. But overarching question, do you need Mifu to play the game? Do you need Mifu to beat the game? Absolutely not so far, unless if contingency contracts ends up being so difficult that no one holds a candle to it, but that'll likely not be the case. In any case, I hope I helped you out though. Have fun playing and building Mifu. I'll see you next time. Take care.